All right, boys, here we are. Rangers just finished the game against St. Louis. They lost. They lost by a score of 3-1, with the third goal coming off of a empty net. So, first 15 seconds of the game, the Rangers go down 1-0. Very reminiscent of last season. I actually think they played the Blues in like the first 5 games last season, and the same exact thing happened. Last season Henrik was letting in a goal in the first 2 minutes pretty much every single game for the first maybe 2 months. It was pretty bad. So this was very reminiscent of that. Not a good sign. The only thing I will say is I'm pretty sure it was on like a 3-on-1 or 3-on-0 like mini breakaway after the turnover near the blue line. I don't blame Henrik. I don't blame Henrik at all for that. He probably could have saved it if this was Henrik in 2012. But, I don't blame him, and he's been having some struggles. So this was the last thing he needed, and his defense left him out to dry once again. I don't think that this is a fundamental problem with the defense. I think it's growing pains. Most of the defense is new on this team, and it's going to take some time for them to work out, the kinks and get used to each other. That's fine. But the problem is that it doesn't seem like management is giving them that option at all. We're 2 games into the season, they benched Brendan Smith, who they just handed out a 4 or 5 year, $4-point-something million contract. I disagreed with that contract in the first place. I don't understand how they got that number, $4 million. I thought he was like 3-ish. But either way, they gave him a $4 million contract, and he's been benched now for half the regular season so far. He's been benched the last 2 games. That makes no sense to me. In addition, D'Angelo is sat this game, and so now you have a player you just signed to a half a decade contract at $4 million a year is being sat. He's a -2 in 2 games. That's not exactly like terrible. It's bad, and it's not, he was not playing well. He wasn't playing up to his ability, but it's not terrible. It's not worthy of being benched. You wouldn't bench Mark Stahl for being -2. They never benched Mark Stahl. So that makes no sense to me. And then the other thing is, maybe I can understand if they wanted to throw in Pionk, or maybe they wanted to try out Barazgalov, some of the younger guys, and give them a shot and kind of just send a message to Smith and D'Angelo that, we do have other people to play. No, they didn't do that. They put in, a 30-year-old Steven Camper and Nick Holton, who, granted, played well against Montreal. Montreal just didn't really threaten the Rangers that much that game, so it's kind of hard to tell if they played well or not. Well, this game they didn't play well at all. They actually were on the penalty kill for some reason, and they let in a goal. Really egregious play, bad play, and that's when St. Louis scores their second goal. So I don't get it. I think it's just a management decision. They must know more than everyone else, but why you revamp the defense and then 2 games into the season tear them up, and they've already destroyed all the pairings, right? So it's like McDonough's playing with Mark Stahl instead of Ken Shattenkirk after 1 bad game. Well, obviously Brady Shea is not playing with Smith because Smith isn't playing at all, and D'Angelo is not playing at all either. So tonight the defense looked like Ryan McDonough paired with Mark Stahl. The second pairing was Brady Shea, Kevin Shattenkirk. The third pairing was Nick Holden with Steven Camper. That doesn't remind me of the revamped Rangers defense that they spent all offseason working on. That looks like a very weak defense. And Mark Stahl's getting top minutes, and Mark Stahl's been good this year. I'm stoked with Mark Stahl playing well, but yeah, and then you look at the forwards, and the forwards are right now we have one line that's really playing, and that one line is somehow -3. I think that's mostly problems with goaltending and defense, but Zibanejad pots another goal on the power play. If you recall, I said I think Zib's going to put up maybe 60 maybe 70 points. I believe in him. I think he's a good first-line center. I think the -3 is not indicative of his play as much as it's been, the kind of the guys on the back end and the pains with the defense so far. But he's been lights out. He's been fantastic. He's not going to score a goal a game. That's ridiculous. But I'm glad someone's shooting on this team because for the past, probably, we had that 1 year where Rick Nash shot everything, but before that, we haven't had like a guy who just pulls the trigger since Gabrick. And it's good to have a guy who's doing that and who's a righty because everyone on this team who's a forward is left-handed. VZ had so many chances. He just couldn't finish. Carter Hutton played lights out and stole the game. I hate saying that because what are we going to say? Varlamov stole game 1. Hutton's has stolen game 4. I mean, does the goalie steal the game? I mean, goalies have good games, but, the team still figure out a way to score on him. And, the Rangers, they had chances, and it's like, Hutton makes a great save, but if VZ just actually elevates the puck, that goes in the net. Or if, someone doesn't fan on the puck, it goes in the net. Or if you get more bodies in front of Hutton, how's he going to have a good game if you can't see the puck? We have Chris Kreider and Kevin Hayes and a lot of big bodies on this team that can do that kind of stuff, which I'd like to see a little bit more of that. But my only problem right now with the lines, other than the ridiculous defensive, sitting players and stuff like that, my only problem right now is I don't like Zuccarello playing with Hayes and Grabner, or no, Hayes and Vesey. I just think that Matt Zuccarello has too much skill to be playing with. First of all, these are all pass first guys. Well, we don't really know too much about VZ, but Hayes is a pass first guy. I'm surprised. How does he get 16 or 17 goals a season? I don't think I've ever seen him shoot the puck. But yeah, so Zuccarello is a pass first guy as well. I mean, he could rip it for sure, but I'd rather see Zuccarello playing on a line with like Miller and Nash. I'm sure at some point Avy's going to split up the Buchnevich, Zibanejad, Kreider line. What do they call it? Like KBZ, whatever. He'll probably split that line up, and then just play Zuccarello with someone who has a little bit more skill. Don't split that line up at all. Not the Zibanejad line. Don't do anything with that line at all. Those guys are playing insane, and Kreider's not even doing anything, and they're playing insane. So it's testament to how great Buchnevich and Zibanejad have been playing so far. It's awesome. It's awesome to see. It's the only bright spot this year because this year's been horrible. It's not really panic mode. This is kind of like the fork in the road right now. Is it panic or is it not? You can say, okay, Carter Hutton stole the game. The Rangers played well. They played well enough to win the game. They outshot them. Blues only had 23 shots on goal. They only really lost by 1 goal, and they had tons of chances in the third. If they had showed up to play the second period, they probably would have won that game. But they didn't. And so you could say, all right, well, Carter Hutton stole the game. And, it's just, we're 1-3, but, we've had slow starts before, and, you can say all that. But you can also say, okay, now the Rangers are the last team in the Metropolitan, and they have the most games played. And the Metropolitan is the toughest division in hockey. That's not good. That's not a good start. And, how many games have you had here where you've had time to figure things out and play? And, I'm not, some people are really questioning management right now. I don't necessarily disagree with them. But Avy's a good coach. I mean, he's definitely a good regular season coach. I'm not so sure about the playoffs, but he's a great regular season coach. So we'll see. So anyway, game 4 of the regular season, Rangers lose to St. Louis Blues. It's 3-1. Zibanejad scores again, and hopefully he does it again on Friday. All right, guys. See ya.